What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So I know I said in my channel update that I wasn't going to be talking about Atlanta United games or, over the next few. But then I looked back and I realized I actually never published the original Atlanta United reviews that I did earlier on in the season. I uploaded all of them. Totally forgot to publish any of them, so nobody really knows what my thoughts have been on Atlanta United this season. At least I don't think so. When I checked, I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of unpublished videos, and a lot of them are Atlanta United. So, anyways, I just thought I'd go ahead and pick it up since I do have a little bit of time to, I guess, get back into the reviews and stuff. I'm not gonna say expect a lot of Atlanta United reviews. It's probably gonna be pretty limited, just because in all honesty, I just don't have that much time to review every game. And honestly, like I said in my channel update, I don't feel like I'm as invested. I don't feel like there's a lot to talk about. I feel like all of the problems can honestly be summed up in this game against LAFC. So let's talk about it. First of all, I am going to address the VAR because, my God, it feels like every single time I start to be like, okay, so, VAR is finally taking a step in the right direction. They're finally starting to do things right. They have to be like, no. We got to mess something up to make sure people know, no, we're still incompetent. We still have no idea what we're doing. So first of all, the center referee was awful. The calls being made today were just so inconsistent. Sometimes, people would just fall over and it's a foul. Sometimes you could practically drag somebody down and no call. It was just, there's no consistency. And then, of course, the penalty was absolutely terrible. Vela, I don't know what it is about these big names in the MLS, like Vela, like Rooney, like, who's the one in NYCFC? David Villa, Maxi Morales. All of these names that, like, the referees just feel like, oh, did they get touched? Oh my God, it's a penalty. He got touched, guys. He got touched. It's a penalty. You go back and watch the replay. The contact, the little contact that happened was outside the box from Escobar, and even then, it's barely any. You can see contact happens, and he just falls over. And let's be honest, that was Vela all tonight. My God, I was just begging somebody who didn't have a yellow card to actually show him what a foul is, because I don't think he actually knows. He got two of our players booked, and neither of them touched him. It was one of those, they tried to touch him, and he jumped over it, and they went, ah! And then the referee's like, oh my God, did you just hurt my little baby Vela? That's a yellow card for you. So, yeah, the referee was awful. Shouldn't have been a penalty. The offsides in the first one, it was tight, but the thing is, for VAR, they have the ability to draw the lines. I never saw lines being drawn to show us that he was onside. So I'm thinking the VAR just said, you know what, I'm too tired. I don't want to have to look at this. Just give him the goal. So, yeah, VAR, do your job. It's that simple. You just got to look and say, all right, there's a problem. He looked like he could be offside. Let's draw the lines. All right, his foot was barely offside. He's off. Or for the penalty, you know what? There's not any contact at all. There's a little bit, but it's just outside the box. Go look at it again. But either they didn't tell him to look at it again, or the ref said, no, I know I'm right, because Vela, it's Vela. It's Vela. He's got to get the penalty. And just decided not to go look at it. So, I don't know. Nobody's going to talk about it, of course, because nobody in the MLS cares enough to talk about it, which is why the MLS will always be a joke of a league. So anyway, with all that being said, let's talk about our performance. Yeah, not good enough. A little bit of fight back, that's great, but not good enough. And I'm just going to go ahead and say what needs to be said, because I actually went on Facebook. Obviously, Atlanta United posted about the result, posted, oh, not our night, tough battle. And I'm looking at all the comments. Nobody seems to understand. Why is Petey being subbed off? Why is Hindman should have come off? Why is Petey being subbed off? He shouldn't have come off, man. He was finally gaining some confidence, and then DeBoer just yanks him off. Oh, I don't understand. Here's the thing. Is Petey a good player? When he wants to be. We don't need a player who's going to be good when he wants to be. We need players that are going to work their butts to the end of the game. And Petey's not shown that. Last game against DC, when he came off the bench, yeah, he did pretty well. He put in a decent performance. He actually worked hard. Part of that is just because DC was basically being a defensive team, so he didn't really have to do a whole lot. He just went out there, The space was there for him to take. He finally looked like he wanted to play for a second, and yeah, he got an assist, he got a goal. Good for him. None of that tonight. Did none of that. When you've got a player who, when his first instinct is to hit the ground, that's not good enough. When you got a player who, whenever the ball is being passed around in the back, and he's right here, and the defender is right there, the ball gets passed to the defender, and what does he do? Oh, that was a good ball. When that's your effort, that's not good enough. You want to know why Petey came off over Hyndman? It's because Hyndman was given a crap. He was actually working. He's not the fastest. He's not the best. But who gives a crap when he actually works hard and tries to win the ball back? When he works for the team and not for himself. And that's why Petey's not going to succeed. I hate to say it, he hasn't figured it out yet. When you come off and give that sort of reaction, you don't talk to the coach, you don't talk to the assistant coach, you go over and kick the water stand, you don't get it. Because you're doing it for yourself, you're not doing it for the team. And that's not good enough. That is not good enough from a player standpoint. It's not good enough from an attitude standpoint. It's not good enough from a work rate standpoint. That shows that all you care about is your playing time and working for yourself. You don't care about the team. And I don't want a player like that on my team. I hate to say it, but that's how it is. I don't care how much we spent for him. I don't care that he was the South American Player of the Year. When you don't want to work, yeah, you're coming off the field. And I honestly hope that reaction earns him some bench time because he deserves it. For most of this season, he's deserved to be on the bench because he doesn't work hard enough for us. And with Barco finally coming back from injury, you got to hope, all right, PD, get on the bench. Barco, you're in. Because Barco's going to work hard. He learned his lesson last season. He was doing a lot of stuff for himself, trying to dribble instead of playing, and ended up on the bench. And obviously there was that little fiasco with, everything that happened with his, the teammate's girlfriend and all that. But still, play-wise, he also was not a player that we could rely on because he wasn't really working for the team. He was trying to dribble for himself. This year, he's actually taking on defenders and looking to find the pass. He's actually working hard to win the ball back. And he's been one of our best players because of it. We've missed him with him being injured for so long because of how hard he works. Petey, you leave him on the bench against DC, you know what? We still held our own. When he finally came off the bench, yeah, he worked hard. He got us the goals. That's great. But the game before that, he started on the bench, and guess what? We won that one too. Oh, but it was an early red card. But there's a pattern. 2 games in a row, he starts the bench, and we play well, we look pretty good, and we win. This game he starts, yeah, we started off pretty well, but then drop, and then we give up 4 goals at the end of the first half. And then second, when we start, yeah, we started off pretty well, got a goal back at the end of the first half, which was good, and then got one back early on because Miram came on and looked pretty good. But Petey wasn't doing anything to help that. Petey was not the difference maker. When he came off, you know what we had? We had Barco actually making the runs. And for the first 10, 15 minutes that Barco came on for Petey, we looked dangerous. Obviously, the legs started to go for some of our other players, and that's when they start coming back at us. But I tell you what, that first little change where Barco comes in, and now we have a player that's working up top, yeah, we looked like we were about to get our 4th and equalize. We just weren't lucky enough. So that's my rant on Petey. I realize people are probably going to disagree with me because literally most of the comments are talking about, why did he come off? I just don't understand. So people still don't get it. They still don't realize that it's not about the quality of the player. It's about the quality of how they're going to work for the team. And that's the thing. You look at most of the other American sports, you look at football, you could have a good team. You could have good blockers. You could have good wide receivers. If you don't have a good quarterback, yeah, the team's going to suffer. So it makes sense that most of these other sports, if you have that one star player, everybody's like, oh, we're going to win this season. For soccer, it's not like that. You can't just have that one star player. You can't just have that one good player in Petey Martinez and expect to win the league. You've got to have everybody working together. You've got to have him working with the people around him. He could have all the talent in the world, but if he's not willing to work with what's around him, he's not going to make it. And he's not made it. He's not done much for us this season. So, aside from that, let's also talk about defense because this is the 3rd or 4th game that we've given up 4+ goals this season, I think. Maybe more. I don't even remember. That's the thing. I've not cared enough to really think about this. Defensively, we're not good enough. And it starts with Perez. Why is he continuing to play when he still makes so many mistakes? And then let's also talk about, you put Escobar in a back three. We saw last season under Tata, he tried that. It didn't work. Escobar is a good attacking defender. He'll work back for sure, and he can defend when he's working back. But when you make him a defensive player, he's not going to be good enough for you. And we saw that today. Defensively, he was getting smoked, and he wasn't able to get up in the attack and help out like he wants to. So you take him off of that fullback or wingback role, yeah, he's not going to be as good. And we saw that tonight. So why was it not Parkhurst, Perez, Robinson? Why is Parkhurst not playing in the first place? And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I think DeBoer's made this season, is he's put two athletes in defense. Who cares if you've got athletes? Every other team has got athletes out there. We had a smart defender that was able to hold his own. Even though he's not the most athletic, he's still able to hold his own because he knows how to play the game. He knows how to organize the people around him. And that's why defensively last season we were so solid. I'm going to have to look back. I don't think, aside from the first game against Houston last year, I don't think we gave up more than 2 goals in a game. It may have happened once or twice, but most of the games we're either winning by a lot or we're winning where it's like 1-0 or 2-1. We were not giving up goals last season. This season, it's like, good Lord, if we don't give up more than 1, I'm shocked. Because we've looked so open. And that's because you're relying on Perez, who cannot think for himself, and Robinson, who is a solid defender, but he's still young. He still makes mistakes. So why are we not making that change? Why can DeBoer not see that? I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. Like, Perez, he should have been on the bench long ago. You know, it's been one of those things where you look at him, first 2 seasons, the first few games, he's been awful, but he started stepping up as the season went on. He started getting better. This season, started awful, still awful. There's been no change. Nobody's getting him to work smarter. Nobody's getting him to calm himself down. Nobody's getting him to be like, all right, enough is enough. He's still the same player that he was at the beginning of the season. Why? Because he doesn't have anybody back there to think for him. He's just allowed to do whatever he wants. DeBoer is giving him the freedom to do whatever he wants, and it's not working. Clearly, it's not working. He's still making mistakes. He's still giving the ball away, dumping it long when we need to keep possession. He's still diving into challenges, stepping out and getting beat and turned because he's flying in with no sense, giving up stupid fouls right outside the box. It's just too much. There should be a change. There's not a change. Somebody's got to do something. Whether it's the coaching staff or whether it's the players around him, somebody's got to step up and be like, all right, look, this is not good enough. We got to stop. So there's that defensively. Midfield-wise, I mean, Nagbe and Remedi, not bad, but Remedi looking tired by the end of the game, you got to make a change. You got to do something differently in there because he was really just starting to give balls away at the end of the game, and you could see he was getting dragged all over the place. Do something different, you know? Get in Parkhurst in the defense and push a defender in there, or get Larinowitz in there. Do something, though. And he's just letting Remedi and Nagbe get run by because they're dying, because they have to do so much work to help out. At some point, you got to make a change, and he never did. As far as, like, I know I'm talking about a lot of negatives. I will go ahead and throw in the positives real quick, just to sort of balance things out, hopefully, a little bit. Gressel, in my opinion, probably been one of our better players this season. If for nothing else, he just works hard. He's not one of our most talented players. I mean, he can send in a great cross, but he's not one of those players that's going to beat players on the dribble. He's not that quick. He is pretty strong. But I tell you what, the one reason why I want him to be on the field is because he just never stops working. That's why you look at Petey, he's coming off the field. Gressel, who doesn't always do the best thing, he's staying on. He's going to be on every single game because he's going to give you 100%. And that's why he continues to get his spot. Because he will actually work for the team. He'll put in the hard work. God, he's making runs. You can tell he's tired by the end of the game. He's still making those overlapping runs. Because he wants to win. He pushes himself to win. And it's really surprising for me because the last 2 seasons he's been one of, I wouldn't say least favorite, but he's not been one of my favorite players. He's been that player that I respect because he does work hard, but we have better options type of thing. Now I'm looking at it and he's one of our best options because nobody else really wants to work half the time. He's one of the few that will push himself and try to attack. I don't know if that's a DeBoer thing or if that's just the rest of the team giving up. I don't know what it is, but something has changed this season to where now he looks like one of our best players. And when Gressel looks like one of your best players, I'm not nothing against him, but he's not a quality player. He's a good player. He's a good MLS player that works hard, but we need better than that. We should be as a team better than that. But I mean, all things aside, though, my opinions aside, yeah, he had a good game, really good game tonight, and yeah, it's showing game after game why he continues to be chosen. Joseph was another one that first half needed a lot more. I mean, he and Petey, honestly, in the first half were our biggest problem because they're pushing high, they're pressing us very high. How do you break that pressure? Well, you get it long, and then you try to win the ball. What happens? We get it long, and Joseph and Petey just kind of go, watching everything. I mean, the amount of times that a defender was able to receive the ball and make a play on it while Joseph and Petey watched them from about 3 or 4 yards away was ridiculous. To the point where when the goal happened, I'm like, yeah, it's been coming. Because they've been putting a lot of pressure on us and we've not been able to break that press. You need players who are going to work hard. Honestly, Vasquez chose a terrible time to get injured because he would do that. He was doing that for us in the DC game and in the Chicago game. I think it was Chicago. But he was putting pressure. And yeah, it was working. But you put Petey on in this game and he doesn't put pressure and look what happens. It's just constant press, 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 and then goal. And then goal. And then goal. And then goal. Because there's no help up there. So, but once Joseph did get going in the second half, I mean, he did do well. But I mean, he needs to do more. Hopefully having a partner in Barco, now that he's finally coming back into fitness, I mean, Barco's going to work hard, so he's able to, I guess, work himself a bit more at the pace he needs to. Because I think part of it is when you're putting a lot of pressure, but Petey's not going to put the pressure on, and you know he's not going to, then it's kind of, I can see the mindset of what's the point whenever I step to this guy, he's going to pass it to this defender, and the guy that I'm up here with is not going to put pressure on that guy. Yeah, I can understand the frustration. I can understand I don't want to wear myself out doing that. So hopefully with Barco coming back in, I'm hoping it's going to be him and Barco up top. That way he can put the pressure on, and now the defense is having to play under pressure, which allows us to step out. I mean, it's just going to look so much better, I'm hoping. So we'll see where that goes. Miram came in, made a difference. Like I said, I mean, he's a player that also will kind of he'll put in a good challenge. Little few moments here and there where he just kind of loses himself, tries to take on a player when he should just pass it. That was my biggest frustration with him. Hyndman, honestly, I'm going to defend Hyndman right now because I saw a lot of people ripping into DeBoer's decision to not take him off and be like, he was awful, he's terrible. Look, he's not our best player. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. I know that. I can see that. He's not as quick. He's not as good on the ball. But my God, does the kid work? Like, the amount of times that I'm seeing him near the end of the game and he's putting in a challenge, he's running around putting pressure on people. I'm like, that's why. That's why he stayed in. I mean, at one point I was even saying maybe he needs to come off, but he stayed in because DeBoer sees that hard work. That's why he's going to keep him in. Because he's going to work hard. Because he's going to give you effort. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, you really want to talk about, well, why did DeBoer take Petey off and leave Hyndman on? That's the main reason why. And if you don't agree with me, well, that's your own opinion. But you look at the game, we lost. And we've lost 6 in a row on the road now. And I'm pretty sure in all 6 of those, Petey has started. In the last 2 games where we won at home and we looked probably the best of the season, Petey did not start. So there's kind of a pattern forming here. Anyways, I'm really tired, and so I'm like getting really frustrated thinking about the game again. But with all this being said and done, though, I think my biggest frustration from this game is, and this is pretty much for most of the season, it's not as fun to watch. I'm not. We had our losses last season. We had our games where we didn't perform as well, but there were still exciting moments. There were still moments where you're just like, yes, like that was exciting, that was fun. Oh, look at that little build-up play. Oh my God, that was brilliant. Now it's like every now and then, like one great ball in to somebody, you're like, oh, that's a great ball, but I'm not. I'm bored watching. Frank DeBoring has been my hashtag this season, but because he's just brought in this style that is so possession based and so worked on. Okay, well, let's slow it down. Let's build, pass, 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 pass. Bad ball gives it away. And that's the thing. I understand possession is very important, and there are times in this game where it did kind of feel like we needed to keep possession because they were getting so much momentum. But when you're a goal down at the end of the game and you're trying to find that extra goal, you're trying to find that equalizer, and your first instinct is to go, nothing right here, let me go backwards. That's the mindset that DeBoer instilled our team with, to the point where now it's not as fun to watch. Because we're not looking to, let's get it down the field, let's attack. We're a goal down, let's get that last goal. We're having maybe one or two guys run into the box now whenever a cross comes in. On a corner, when the ball's bouncing around, how many players of ours do you see attacking that second ball? Nobody, really. I mean, it's most of the time the defense that's attacking the second ball and getting it out. It's just not been fun to watch. And I'm worried because some of these just standard goers to games, some of these guys that are just like, they don't understand the sport very well, but they went because the atmosphere was awesome. It was exciting to watch. The play is exciting. They're not soccer fans, but they're Atlanta United fans because Atlanta United plays exciting. That's not been us this season. We've not been exciting. We've been boring to watch. And especially from a person who understands the sport, I can even say we've been boring to watch. And I'm not that type of person. Most of the time, I want to win, and I'll take a good defensive performance over an attacking performance where we give up 5 goals but we score 6. I don't want that type of game. I prefer a game where we score 1 and we give up none. But with that being said, DeBoer's not only made us boring in that sense, we've also been giving up goals left and right. So it's not been fun to watch attacking-wise, and we're giving up goals, which is costing us games. We're getting the worst of both worlds. It's not fun to watch attacking-wise. It's not fun to watch defensively. So why are we here? Why are we watching? You're going to lose the fan base that you've built up over this. That's the only thing we can pride ourselves on, is that we've still managed to sell out these tickets. We've still managed to sell all these tickets to all these people. We've still got 40,000 plus coming to these games. You're going to lose that. If you continue to keep DeBoer in the job and we continue to keep playing the way we are, he continues to keep trusting in players that aren't getting the job done, some of these 40,000 are going to go, you know what? I was right. Soccer's not a fun sport. Why have we come to this? Because that's how Atlanta fans are. They want to come watch an experience. They don't want to come watch 11 guys just kind of around the field for 90 minutes and then eventually lose either 1-0 or, in this case, go on the road, travel all this distance, and then watch us get embarrassed. Now, obviously, this wasn't as much of an embarrassment, but it's still kind of, the way we fell apart at the end of that first half, it's still kind of embarrassing to watch that 15 minutes where we gave up 4 goals. Yeah, that's embarrassing to watch. So, that's pretty much my opinion. I'm sorry again that I've not been as able to keep up and do reviews for this season, but I hope this kind of explains where I'm coming from, why I'm not as excited to do reviews for this season, because there's not as much fun stuff to talk about. It's been a lot of frustration. It's been a lot of complaining. It's been a lot of there needs to be changes and then there's no changes, or there's changes that don't make any sense. I don't know. It's been a frustrating season overall. And I feel like DeBoer's not been doing enough to push us in the right direction. He's still trying to enforce his tactic and do things his way. He's only recently changed the formation, but even then, you're still not playing your best defender, your smartest defender, where he needs to be played. So I still feel like you're making dumb decisions. So, anyway, that's my rant on this game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe. Future Atlanta United reviews. I'll see you guys in the next game, maybe. Peace out.